Let's get it.
Backyard Central.
Today we're talking about apples. This is a apple tree in I think it's like 25 gallon. It might have been in here too long. Let's check it out. So I already got this door set down here. I just got this tree, but this is the space that I have. It's right next to a wall. It is what it is, but this is what we're gonna do. It should be able to grow up over this wall and give some protection. Dorset and this Granny Smith should actually pollinate each other. Got my helpers. I literally just got this golden Dorset, but we just planted it. These are some of the struggles. Like, you run out of space, and it's like, what am I gonna do with everything else? So you have to make space. I got all this soil. I got some ideas and some things. Don't have one, get a dolly. If you're working in pots, this thing saves lives. Life changer, lifesaver. Alright, so I had to move a crap ton of rocks. The Vegas landscaping thing is so stupid. But then all I'm doing is just using this guy here to dig some holes, get this soil nice and broken up. Basically decomposed granite. See? And it's weird, like, I'm finding all these bones. Like, I wonder if people buried animals or dead animals here or something. Or it could be a crime scene, I don't know. Anyway, the idea is that these are gonna grow, be able to pollinate each other, and then we can get some sort of a blockage this way for the plants that are gonna go here. Already I have that Monstera and that can use some shade, so this should work nicely by next season, and I'll get a ton of apples. So I am setting these pretty high. As you can see, this still has like that covering around the roots, and I want to make sure that these top roots are above grade. So there's kind of a little bit on a hill, and I did kind of mix this up with some of the soil that was already in there. Luckily, the soil, there's no, like I said, there's no bark or anything in my soil. It's all mineral based. Generally, I like to put down some bark or something to start transforming the soil prior to doing all this, like a year or so the soil can change. You know, get some of this clay broken up. But since this is like a spur of the moment type of thing, there was some cells on some other trees, and then I had to make space. And some things are native, so they'll do well here. At any rate, let's get this started. So I'm using a tool that I'm going to come back in here, and I'll use my shovel and get some of these big rocks out. Like, look at this. Freaking ridiculous. Our soil sucks. Alright, that's all. It should be good enough, right? Let's take a look here. This is as deep as it's going to get. Let's get that tree. Here she is. All I've gotten is small apples from this. Also, like I said, this isn't a dwarf tree, so this should fix that if that is the issue. Or maybe it's just the age, but she's pretty tall. I can tell that she doesn't want to be in a 25 gallon. So if you know anything about what I've done, I always put all the nutrients at the top, but I need to put that in something. I don't have any tarp. Generally, I like to put a tarp down. My dogs chewed it up. So what I'm going to use is one of these guys. Maybe put something in the bottom, and these make pretty good, somewhat buckets. I have so many of them. Top 2 inches are bark and soil and things that are feeding in. So it's funny because I'm looking in here and I'm seeing all sorts of life in worms, but I'm also looking at these roots because I'm just trying to see if they are circling or what we're looking like. Take out this feeding tray, barrel thing. This is where I put a lot of the scraps in. Won't be needing that. Just want to show you what some of this looks like. Like, check out these roots. They don't look too dang bad. This has been in here for like a good 3 years, and I'm not seeing roots really circling so much. I am liking all the life that I'm seeing in here though. But all this has to come out. I don't want any of this in the pot, in the ground with the soil. So I've been digging around a little bit. Take a look at these roots. They're looking pretty good. Honestly, all the stuff that I've heard about having things in pots, so far that's not the case. They're not circling. They look pretty fibrous. I don't want to mess these up too much, but apple trees should be forgiving messing with the roots. I just want to show you how easy this is. It's a little dolly. Let me show you how this works. This thing should be rated up to, I think, 800 pounds or so. Should be easy peasy. It locks in. Check that out. You can move it back and forth. We're just gonna get this on here.
Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's grow.
Folks, it was that easy. Now check this out. I can pull this up, and now this is amazing. I love this thing. Let's go. Let's take a look at these roots. Man, this is heavy. I mean, I'm sure some of these got broken down. I think the idea is you want it to be pretty dry, not wet. As far as like the soil goes in the roots when you're taking it out of pot. But this is what we're looking like. I mean, they look pretty freaking good if I do say so myself. They don't look like they're going around the pot for, I think it's been in there 3 or 4 years. And this is what they're kind of looking like. I mean, they're kind of close together, which is fine. I can have them growing outwards the other way, close to a wall, which could be bad. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think it'll be fine. But there's plenty of growth, and my neighbor at least has all of their plants, so I don't have to worry about that as much as far as it growing into their ground. Give you a closer look at these roots. Take a look at that. They look really good, to be honest. They don't look like they've been circling. They went out straight, very fibrous. Not as bad as what I was expecting from what other people say. I thought these were going to be root bound, going around in circles, but realistically they're not. So the idea is to have this root flare above grade. I'm going to have the tree itself a little bit high. It should settle in. This, like I've said before, the dirt here is kind of decomposed granite. The idea is that I'm going to have, I'm going to have the soil that I make, the mineral-based soil, pretty much close to the roots. As it gets further and further away, it's slowly going to be transformed into the native soil. So I am sort of changing up the soil a little bit. It's nothing crazy, and there's no bark or anything in my soil, but I am adding some of the soil that was in there. There's also a lot of life and worms and bacteria and things in this soil, so that should be pretty beneficial. So right up around the tree, we're looking at, about 70% or so of the soil that I made. And then you go out like a foot or so, then that's going to be about 50%. You go out a little bit further, and it's going to be 30%, so on and so forth until we're native sand. So I am going to get this mixed in the best way I can and get it covered. Like I always say, use your brain, thinking about what people have said. People have heard you don't want to do anything to the soil, you want it to get used to the native soil. And then I've heard that you want it to be, it's already used to what it was in, so it needs to stay in that. So if you think about it though, sometimes there's like details that are missing, right? Like people are using things from box stores that has broken down things in it, broken down woods and things like that, which can mess it up because that's completely different than the soil that's going in. So for one, because of the soil that I've been using, it's pretty similar to the soil, it's just more aerated, right? And then for two, you got to think that, like, I think trees and things, they do what's best for themselves with what they have. So like you don't want to baby it and everything. Like you want to make it struggle just a little bit, but at the same time provide it what it needs. I think it's no different than human beings and everything else. I had to get my drip irrigation put down. This is all that I'm going to do for watering, to be honest. If you followed me other videos, I water once a week manually, and then have drip irrigation on the other weeks. And that should be all that I need. I don't think you need to overwater. In fact, the whole idea is short, frequent watering, not really deep, super deep, heavy watering. It's less water, and from what I'm understanding, trees like it. My pots definitely love it. Right now, this is, if you're in Vegas, hit up Tractor Supply. This is some of the best, cheapest mulch for bang for buck you can get. This is cypress mulch. It's generally used in animal beddings, and I'm just gonna get a nice layer of this going around. I already put on some worm castings above all of this, and now I'm putting this, so it's like the regular soil, then it's the soil I made, and then it's worm castings. I put a little bit of topsoil that I had in like a half of a bag of that, so half a cubic foot across both of these, and then we're just mulching these. That's all there is to it. You know, guys, this is a mulligan of different things, right? Because my soil is mineral based, there's not a lot of dead things in it. It's kind of like how it is. I kind of replicate what the ground does in the real world, so there's not a big change, right? So this plant shock and things of that nature, which I would almost bet money that I'm not going to have any plant shock based on this, because the ground is basically a big pot. That's the way that I look at it. That's how I make my soil. My soil doesn't have, again, broken down things. I know I'm repeating myself. I have things that is breaking down in there. It's all mineral, which is what the ground is. Leaves fall, branches fall, and then things eat that, and then it feeds downwards. That's the same concept of what I had in my pots, and then that's the same concept of what's in the ground. So call it what you will. You might think that this is gonna work. I'll bet everything I have on this. I'm really big into science and engineering. I'm an engineer by trade, and it just makes sense. Like, replicate what it is. That's simple, right? Check this out. Here's the best part. Let's take a look at this irrigation. All you gotta do is pull up my phone. I can click on what I want for 6 minutes. I'm just gonna test everything, make sure it's all working. Look at that. Everything turning on, and the water is coming out. That's why it's nice to have digital irrigation. I say what you will, this stuff's amazing. So with these, the more you can turn it one way or the other to allow more water or less water to come out. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn these until I get a nice spray. And I also don't want it to just be watering the wall, and I don't want it to be hitting directly on the bottom of the tree as well. So I'm just kind of making sure I have this where I want it, how deep I want it. I don't want it to be watering the fake grass. You can already kind of see how it's spreading out. The darker bits, that's where the water's hitting. Guys, here's a secret sauce right here. And what I always want to do is I water with water from my fish pond. This water is super nutrient, super beneficial, bacteria, oxygenated, really helps with plant shock. Like, I can't stress that enough. This stuff is like the cherry on the top. If it wasn't for this stuff, like, I swear by it, at minimum, nothing's ever had plant shock. And I'm pretty sure this is why. But if you don't have a pond, not everybody has a pond, there's supplemental things you can buy. I also think that fish fertilizer is super beneficial as well. Kind of has the same sort of effects. Alright, but it's kind of my step-by-step on this. I mean, it's pretty simple. There's some difficulties, and pots aren't always easy. Sometimes things are better in ground, sometimes things aren't. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions, concerns about any of this, or anything that I might have missed, and let me know about your gardening experience. One of these mornings, though, I'm gonna get you out here to garden. the best thing. Let's grow, people.
Let's grow. Let's grow.